Welcome to episode 11 of Two Guys, One Sport. My name is Chris.
My name is Birthday Boy Chris.
Yes, it is.
Happy birthday, first and foremost.
Yes, this is a special
My
birthday
name is George.
edition.
Or George, that will be in October.
Yeah.
But it's Chris's birthday, everybody. Everyone send in happy birthday wishes on social media and on CageSideSeats.com, which, if you're not a member, you should be. Get the plug out of the way bright and early. And most importantly, in minds, because Chris, it's your special day today. Tell the class how you spent your birthday.
I went to work today because
you're an adult and that's what we do.
Yes, I am taking tomorrow off because my mother and my sister are coming into town. So I'll
see what day my birthday is. My birthday is a Monday. Fuck me. So
you could take the day off and just have the 3-day weekend like I'm doing, but
yeah, I we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll be lucky and be able to do that.
Yeah, give it a try. But yeah, I'm 31 years old today. I'm an old man. Deal with it. And we're gonna do a podcast to celebrate my birthday, even though we'd be doing a podcast anyway. It just would be tomorrow instead of today, because family and all that stuff.
Of Two Guys, One Sport. And as always, we thank our people for joining us in the live thread on Cage Side, and we hope to entertain you guys for the next hour and a half or so.
That is the goal. Entertainment is always the goal. We've got some live events to preview. We've got some live results to review, and we've got a rant. I've got a rant.
Yeah. Of course, we have matches of the week.
Yes, we have matches of the week.
You want to go first or should I?
No, I'll go first. Sure, we'll get this nonsense out of the way because this is a nonsense match.
It is. Well, my match is not a nonsense match.
Oh, mine absolutely is.
My match is probably my favorite professional wrestling match since 2011. And I say since 2011 only because I was blessed enough to be in the audience for CM Punk versus John Cena, Money in the Bank 2011. And that will always be near and dear to my heart as a special experience of being in that building. Yeah. But this is my favorite match since then. And this match is from Wrestle Kingdom 9, the semi-main event, Shinsuke Nakamura retaining his Intercontinental Championship against Kota Ibushi. Now, George, you may say, why are you picking this match? 3 reasons. 1, it's awesome. It's super great, and you should watch it.
Yeah.
2, I've started to see a girl. She's quite lovely. And I told her, she said, I don't watch wrestling. Will you show me a match? And I said, yes, I will show you this match because this match is the perfect match to show somebody who doesn't know anything about wrestling because it tells a cool story. Mm-hmm. You might say, George, what's that story? Well, Nakamura concussed Ibushi and put him on the shelf for a long time, and this was Ibushi's grand attempt at vengeance. But more importantly, and this ties into our our Backlash preview, this was Nakamura's first ever debut in front of a new audience. And you might say, well, George, he's wrestled the Wrestle Kingdom before. He's main evented Wrestle Kingdoms. Aha! Mm-hmm. But this was broadcast on American pay-per-view for the first time in English with Jim Ross as your play-by-play guy. Yeah. So it was his first exposure to a whole new world of indescribable feeling, so to speak. And he killed it.
I'm not going to start singing the song, but,
I appreciate that. By the way, golden age of Disney animation. Maybe one day we'll do a podcast on that. Yeah. Because from 89 to 99, they were on fire. It was every year was like the Wrestle Kingdom of animation.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get too sidetracked, Nakamura is at his absolute pinnacle here. And I will say this match is why I and several others became New Japan fans in earnest. Because of this match and how unbelievably charismatic he and Ibushi were, and Jim Ross doing what he does best, and that's making the performers look like $1 million. 5-star match, co-signed, highly recommended, a showcase of strong style with suplexes and running knees and arm bars and dragon screws and moonsaults off the railing, and Nakamura retains, keeps his title. Both these guys are faces to boot, even though Nakamura is still nominally part of Chaos, a nominally heel faction, although that's kind of blurred in New Japan. But this is Nakamura's introduction to a new audience, and he kills it.
Yeah.
A year later, he has an introduction to a new audience at NXT Dallas, and he killed it in one of my other favorite matches. And a year after that, he has an introduction to a new audience at Backlash, and we're going to talk about that today. So that's why I picked this match as kind of the first of the trilogy of Nakamura's introductions. I mean, the great story is that when Nakamura tries, he's unstoppable in terms of wrestling. He tried this match. He absolutely had his working boots on. I would posit that he's had the last 3 televised matches he's had have been excellent because he's had his working boots on. Both matches against Bobby Roode at Takeover Orlando, which I loved. Excuse me, at Takeover San Antonio, which I loved. At Takeover Orlando, which I thought was pretty good. And the NXT match against TJ Perkins, which was a lot of fun. Nice little 10-minute sprint. In what was that? January or so was that match before the San Antonio match?
I believe so, yes.
So Nakamura's 3 for 3. He had his working boots on all 3 of those matches. For fuck's sake, Chris, he carried Bobby Roode to 2 4-star matches.
Yeah, which is a feat in 2016, 2017.
I mean, Bobby Roode's all gimmick. He's all gimmick and promo. He can't actually do, he can't work. No. Unless he's got someone who makes him look great, and Nakamura did. And Nakamura made Ibushi look great, and Ibushi made Nakamura look great. And everybody made everybody look great. And we will see when we get to the Backlash preview if the Nakamura matches in front of new audiences carries over. Exactly. So that's why I picked this match. It rocks. I can't wait to show the girlfriend this match and show her why professional wrestling kicks ass.
Great choice.
Birthday boy, what you got?
Well, I will preface this by saying, and those of you who are familiar with Lucha Underground know this 3rd season of Lucha Underground that started last year, and we're currently waiting for the second half of it to start airing this year, has been a little bit checkered, to say the least. There's been some good stuff. There's been some pretty bad stuff. But what I'm going to talk about tonight, maybe one of the highlights of the first half of season 3 of Lucha Underground. And that is the show-encompassing match from November 30th, the episode Breaker of Bones, where Pentagon Dark was in a gauntlet match against the Black Lotus Triad. And for those of you who are not aware, the Black Lotus Triad consisted of Kairi Hojo, Mayu Iwatani, and Io Shirai making their first debut appearance on American soil.
Whatever happened to those ladies, Chris?
Oh, I don't know. They're only the 3 biggest stars in the Stardom promotion in Japan. 2 of them are headed to WWE. And oh my God, Io Shirai signed with WWE this week. It's official. Well, I mean, it's kind of official. Davey Hammercurls reported it in the Observer. But oh my God, Io Shirai is coming to WWE. I could not possibly be more excited. Anyway, Mayu Iwatani is also the current Wonder of Stardom champion. Is retiring this year, but still the 3 best female wrestlers in Japan, and definitely 3 of the best in the world. Anyway, so this show encompassing gauntlet match pitted Pentagon first against Kairi Hojo, then against Mayu Iwatani, then against Io Shirai. They had names that they gave them for the purpose of the show. I'm not going to use them because they deserve to have their real names given, and they deserve to be recognized for their performance as the people that they are, the performers that they are. The first and the third sections of this gauntlet were absolutely superb. The middle part, the Pentagon facing Mayu Iwatani, was a little bit lacking to some degree, and that's mostly because the Black Lotus Triad in this in this episode were supposed to be playing vicious, heartless assassin type characters, and anybody who's ever watched a Mayu Iwatani match knows that nothing could be further from the truth for Mayu Iwatani. She's got an absolute heart of gold, may possibly be one of the kindest, gentlest souls ever when she's not in the middle of a wrestling match. And even when she's in a wrestling match, she still portrays that happy-go-lucky spirit that she has while she's giving her performances. But nonetheless, it was still a satisfactory portion of the match. The opening segment between Pentagon and Kairi Hojo really showed the babyface fire that Kairi Hojo is so eminently capable of at all times, with Pentagon at first dominating her, because obviously size and strength advantage. He was out the gate already at an advantage over her. But then she started to show him a little something, and then she hit that world famous elbow drop on him, and instantaneously everybody in the building was like, "Holy shit, this girl's the real deal."
God, that elbow drop is it's a thing of beauty. But that elbow drop is just a thing of beauty, and we'll have words about it. Go on.
It is. We're gonna bookmark that because we're gonna come back to that a little bit later on in the show. But we call that in the business foreshadowing, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed. It's unfortunate that the match ended about 20 seconds after she hit that elbow drop because she went up for a second one. Pentagon caught her and then did his signature arm break spot, and that was the end of that segment of the gauntlet. But still, a great performance by Kairi Hojo there, and really showing, this is actually going to be a serious thing, and Pentagon really needs to, take these women seriously. And then we got the Iwatani segment, which I talked about, and then Io Shirai hit the ring, and holy shit! If you've never seen Io Shirai perform, if you've never seen an Io Shirai match in its fullest extent, this is not a place to start, I will say, because this was basically treated like a no DQ match. Lots of extracurriculars thrown in, chair shots, a lot of business outside the ring, getting thrown into walls, into rows of chairs. At one point, Pentagon was choking Io Shirai out with a camera cable. But for the sake of showing off the fullest and greatest extent of Io Shirai's athleticism, this is the match, because she comes out on fire and is on fire for the entirety of this match, like bell to bell. She has turned up to 11 the whole way. Coming out the gate with a missile drop kick from the top turnbuckle before the bell even rings. That is what the bell rings to, is Io Shirai hitting a missile drop kick on Pentagon Dark in the middle of the ring. And oh my God, we got her famous moonsault to the floor from the turnbuckle. We got a lot of great striking and kicking that Io Shirai is so well known for. The incredible diving crossbody from the top of Dario Cueto's office about 15 feet down to the floor, which to this day, I still don't know how she did that. Full disclosure, I am very much afraid of heights. And if I was standing even up that high, I would be shaking and quivering at a helpless mess. And she just, without the slightest bit of hesitation, just jumped. And it's like, wow, holy shit. And then the final spot of the match, reversing a package pile driver into a Canadian destroyer.
I'm envisioning that in my head. Okay, so a package pile driver, like
Pentagon's got her up. He's got her up. He's got her held in for the package pile driver. Goes to bring her down. She halts his momentum, gets back to her feet, breaks out, kicks him in the stomach, gets him down into position, and then just goes for it and hits the Canadian destroyer on him. And
I love Io Shirai.
Oh my God.
5'1" of just pure unmitigated awesomeness.
Yeah. Easily, as I've said before, you can make claims for whoever else you want, but I will not be swayed in my belief that Io Shirai is the best women's wrestler.
She's one of the 10 best wrestlers on the planet, regardless of anatomy. One of the 10 best wrestlers in the world.
I would put her top 3 personally, but
who's had her right now on your list for the record?
AJ Styles is ahead of her, and God, probably Matt Riddle.
Yeah, if you had asked me 4 months ago, I would have put Chris Hero on that list.
Yeah,
but now we have the Chris Hero Sabotage Tour, so
yeah, we have.
But I mean, I won't argue with that. I mean, I can't. I would put Big Match Okada on that list, but I mean, it's slim pickings, guys who are better than her on a night in, night out basis.
Yeah,
you say top 10, and I'm not gonna argue with that.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you say top 5, and I'm not going to argue with it. I mean, you can at least make a case other than AJ, other than in my view, AJ, Riddle, Okada, and the artist formerly known as Chris Hero, Skypoint. I can't think of anybody better than she is right now, who's on a roll that she's on right now. But I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah, so this is a match that highlights, as I said, the full athleticism of Io Shirai, and it's a shame that the WWE style being what it is, we probably won't see most of that in her WWE career. But all the same, I mean, she's still going to put on incredible matches no matter what, because she is such an incredibly detailed and wide-ranging arsenal of moves at her disposal. I mean, the woman is technically gifted in the ring. She is a savant, and at 26 years of age, she's only going to get better. Yeah. So I definitely recommend that episode of Lucha Underground is a fun watch. The episode ends with Black Lotus and El Dragon Azteca breaking both the Pentagon's arms. And that's where we last saw him, I believe, in terms of Lucha Underground Season 3. I don't think he has shown up back at the temple since then. And
given his exile from AAA, he may not show up at the temple again.
I mean, Season 3 is already filmed, so I mean, he might show up for future episodes. I mean, same thing with Prince Puma / Ricochet. I mean, that's the only reason why he hasn't signed with WWE yet, is because that second half of Season 3 of Lucha Underground still hasn't aired yet, and he has that contract clause that prevents him from signing anywhere else until that TV is over.
All this talk about the artist formerly known as Pentagon Jr. I believe next week's match is going to be the fun as hell bloodbath between Pentagon Jr. and Vampiro at the season finale of the first season of Lucha Underground. Where Vampiro has the hanging pendulum and the makeup, and it just not a technical masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination.
No, yeah,
a fun wrestling match. I believe I'll be talking about that next week, unless I decide to talk about something else.
We're all about variety. And, we have a world of wrestling to choose from for these matches of the week. So we're all about exposing you guys to different things. So let's. Do you want to go into WWE events?
Sure. Sure. It's your world, birthday boy. I'm just sitting here. You're Luke Skywalker, and I'm the guy in the back of the snowspeeder who gets stepped on by the walker.
That would be Dak Ralter. Yes, I am a complete
R.I.P. Dak. R.I.P. Dak. We hardly knew you. I'll pour out an old English for him next time I'm near the liquor store.
Yeah, I mean, if you played the old Rogue Squadron game on the N64.
For 64? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you got to use the tow cable and fly around? Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
That game was so great, though. That game was so fun. But except for that little tow cable bullshit.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk a little bit about NXT Takeover Chicago. We're gonna start with a match that was made official this week on NXT TV. A singles match between Roderick Strong and Erick Young, which came about as a result of the aftermath of Roddy's number one contenders match against Hideo Itami from last week on NXT. After the match and after NXT had gone off the air, there was a segment that took place only on social media. It was only aired on WWE's YouTube channel and other social media accounts. Erick Young, Alexander Wolf, and Killian Dane attacked Roderick Strong, with Nikki Cross doing her wonderful jumping around like a mad demonette ringside, enjoying the destruction with her utmost glee. Roddy got hit with the Ulster Plantation, then the wheelbarrow neckbreaker, and Sanity did their pose standing strong over Roddy. And this is actually a nice little thing for Roddy, given that he had a long build up with those excellent vignettes the preceding 2 weeks before the number one contenders match. And Roddy is the big hole in Roderick Strong's NXT career that everybody talked about since his debut, of that he had no character and had no motivations or anything, has officially been filled. We now know what Roddy is and what he's about, and everybody's behind Roddy and his new family. He just had a baby and is getting married to Marina Shafir in the future, and everybody's behind Roddy right now, going up against
as they should. Those were, if you haven't seen them, I believe we talked about this last week or maybe the week before. Two excellent vignettes. No, do you remember, brother? You may have been not watching then. Do you remember when Shawn Michaels retired in 2010 and he had his farewell on Raw the night after WrestleMania?
I did not see that at the time, no, but I have seen it since.
So Shawn Michaels loses the Undertaker, has the retirement match. It was great. I cried. You cried. Everyone cried. It was great. The next night on Raw, he goes on Raw and he has his farewell address, basically. And during that farewell address, he explicitly points out the WWE production team and video making team as the best people in the business. And they are, because they can make any video look great. Mm-hmm. They take crappy material and make it look awesome every time there's a show. Imagine what they do with awesome material like this.
Yeah.
This stuff was so good. And you know what? I have talked about this before. The biggest problem with the WWE is their lack of authenticity.
Oh, God.
This was authentic.
So true. It's so true.
Authentic. WWE is very inauthentic, generally.
Mm-hmm.
That was not in the case with these vignettes. These vignettes were heartful. They were genuine. They were real. They were excellent. And they made, for the first time in a decade, made me care about Roddy Strong and gave Roddy Strong an identity beyond good-looking dude who hits lots of crazy backbreakers.
Mm-hmm.
That was his gimmick for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Good-looking dude who hits lots of backbreakers and wears small boots. Like, now he's got a character and he has motivation and he has a pathos and a path forward. And the only problem is I don't really understand what he's doing here, slumming it with Sanity. Like, it seems like he's just running in place. He fought Sanity in the big 8-man with Cassius Ohno and Ty Dillinger and Ruby Riott at Orlando, and here he is 6 weeks later, or whatever it was, and he's still wrestling Sanity. Like, why are we going through all the trouble of these videos and having him keep in place?
Well, I think that this is the issue here right now is that we have a terrible NXT champion in Bobby Roode. I mean, he's been carried to great matches by Shinsuke Nakamura, as we discussed, but we have a pretty bad champion in Bobby Roode, and underneath him we have some of the most amazing talent in the world vying for a shot at the NXT title. We have Hideo Itami as the challenger, who has looked incredible since returning from injury, as give no fucks Hideo, which is my favorite form of Hideo Itami. We have Roderick Strong, who has fought tooth and nail to advance himself at his position since coming to NXT, and has contended with all sorts of adversity since he joined Ty Dillinger's cause, and now was trying to move on from that, and now is being pulled back in. We have Drew McIntyre, who showed up to NXT and is on fire. Has been putting on great matches with talent from up and down the card, and
as Sean Reuter put it, Drew McIntyre as the male Asuka, who just doesn't give a fuck about anything, is the best thing in the world.
Yeah, right. Tweener Drew McIntyre is fantastic.
Awesome. Yep.
We have the artist formerly known as Chris Hero, Mr. Cassius Ohno, who is getting himself back into better ring shape, and once he is back into better ring shape, will surely be in contention for that NXT title, of course. And that's to say nothing of the specter of Eric Young and Sanity, who could also at any time choose to target the champion or in the championship. And last but not least, the enigmatic and unstable Aleister Black, who has been the greatest thing about NXT since his debut.
Have you noticed that NXT has rapidly become the far and away the best product that WWE produces on a weekly basis.
Yeah, they came back like we talked about.
They came the phoenix rising from the ashes.
Yeah,
these bitches came back from the dead.
Yeah,
it went for NXT. I've always been an NXT fan, even during the dark times when it was basically just here's 3 matches, go away now.
Yeah.
You know, now it's become compelling, character-driven television, just like it was.
Yeah.
I care about the characters. Well, except for Erick Young, who's the worst part of his own stable, but we've talked about that before.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about the possibility of other people leading Sanity, the possibility of Aleister Black taking over.
Nikki Cross.
Yeah, Matt DSM made the suggestion in the live thread, Nikki Cross being the leader of Sanity, which I think would be ridiculous fun.
I have been calling for a quick aside. I would love a mixed gender stable where the woman is in charge. Do you remember when maybe 3 months ago Charlotte teamed with the Club and they had that little vignette tease in the back with the 2 sweet signs?
Yeah.
And I wanted a 4 horseman stable with Charlotte in the Ric Flair mode, a random mid-card heel male as her enforcer, and the Club. I would have loved something along those lines where you have a strong, powerful, in this case, batshit crazy woman leading a bunch of men. I think not only the whole equal rights bullshit. I just think it's an interesting story that isn't ever told.
I don't know if I would have Charlotte
absolutely pull it off.
I don't know if I would have Charlotte be the one doing that, but Nikki Cross is definitely a good candidate for that. That would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. She gets her character down pat, as we'll discuss during the fun Nikki Cross and Ruby Riott videos from 2 weeks ago on NXT.
Yeah. Oh, that was a lot of fun. We'll get into those.
Yeah, but Nikki Cross should. First of all, Erick Young does nothing except for cut a good promo. He's a shorter body. He's a shorter, less ripped, more tatted up Bobby Roode. I already have the real one. I don't need another one.
Yeah.
One of those is enough.
Bobby Roode is the dollar store Triple H, as we've already discussed.
Yeah, and then exactly. Then Erick Young is the dollar store Bobby Roode,
which is like the 10-cent store Triple H. The thrift store Triple H, we'll call it.
Exactly. I don't need Erick Young. He's what, 42 at this? He's what, 40 at this point? 39 or something?
If he's not over 40, he's rapidly approaching it.
Go be a trainer. Get off my television.
Yeah. You are not Cassius Ohno / Chris Hero, who is still in great shape and wrestling great matches at that age. There are very few who are still capable of doing that, Erick Young.
Exactly. And you were never that great of a worker in the latter half of your career anyways. Yeah.
So who do you got for this?
Very dirty Erick Young win. It just seems the same we always get. There'll be interference and a ref distraction and then the damn numbers game. Whatever. Yeah. It'll be a fine match. It'll be a solid 3.5 star match, but it won't be. Yeah. It'll be one of those matches where you watch and then you immediately forget about.
Yeah. It's gonna be like,
which is so typical of WWE matches on big shows, especially undercard matches.
Yeah, it's gonna be basically just like the Takeover San Antonio match between Dillinger and Young. It's gonna be basically exactly that.
Exactly.
Next up, we have.
Oh, by the way, I'm maybe going to this show. I forgot to tell you that.
Nice.
I can't go to Backlash because it's on a work night and it's a bitch to get to the Allstate because I don't have a car.
Yeah.
But there's a pretty good chance I go to this show, especially if the Cubs game rains out. It's 90% chance of rain all day Saturday. So if the Cubs game rains out, I'll have a whole afternoon free. I can just jump on the train at my leisure. And I'll give you a live report. Oh, and given what I showed you before we started, now, a week from today at AAW is Sami Callihan versus Juventud Guerrera and Jack Swagger's first match on the Indies versus Big Mike Elgin. So you may get reports from me next week.
Yeah,
because Chicago is the place to be in the next week in terms of both WWE and independent wrestling.
Hell, you could, if the Cubs game rains out, you could even go to Evolve 84.
Exactly. No, I would absolutely do that because it's also not that far from the train. I can make that happen for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, next up we have the first defense of the United Kingdom Championship on pay-per-view, as Tyler Bate will be facing Pete Dunne in a rematch of the UK Championship tournament that took place in January. Not a whole lot of build to this.
No.
It's all been pretty
totally fine.
Yeah,
it's a good crowd. It's a good crowd. It's a very Chicago's a very smarky crowd, for lack of a better word. They're a very knowledgeable crowd. This is a good match to have that. This is a good match to have in front of that crowd.
Yeah.
It won't get swallowed up.
Yeah,
it won't get died out. It won't die a death. You won't get stupid bullshit chants for the most part. These are two guys who work well together. I am a fan of Pete Dunne. I think it's time to give him the belt.
Yeah, I think.
I can see them keeping it on a babyface to promote the upcoming show that may or may not ever be produced.
Yeah,
they say they're making it. We'll see it when it happens.
I'm predicting that Bate retains here for exactly that reason. Although I'm still confused as to how two members of British Strong Style are fighting against each other, and not perfectly aligned in their purposes, because it's still just weird
half zone with Progress in WWE. Like, it's clear that there's something there. There's a little bit of a dalliance there.
Yeah.
It's just and to a lesser extent with what is that, ICW?
Yeah,
but not yet. It's almost like WWE is banging a side chick and isn't quite ready to make the side chick the main chick. They're gonna keep her on the side. Change her name under the context to a male friend's name or some other shady shit. That's kind of where we are with Progress in WWE. I feel that we're coming down the pipe, though, sooner rather than later. We will start getting more and more over Progress stuff. Maybe a Jimmy Havoc sighting. I don't know. Maybe there's something going on.
It's funny how, like, when WWE's relationship with Evolve first came about, especially in the wake of the Johnny Gargano signing, and there's a lot of hay being made about that early last year, and somehow along the way that has kind of just died down, and now we've got suddenly this Progress and ICW relationship that's come out. It makes me wonder in some ways if, like, WWE is only making these inroads for temporary gain, and then is just disappearing off into the sunset. We'll
see. I mean, it's not that similar to what happened in the 80s.
Yeah.
In the early 80s, whereas Meltz reports that WWE would go to the other territories and say, "Hey guys, we're going to show your matches on our network, on our USA primetime slot." And everyone's like, "Oh, great, we'll get our guys from publicity." And then what happened was all the territories sent Vince the tapes. Vince showed matches of the other territories' guys, and then he proceeded to sign those guys and then run those matches under his banner in those territories because they already had the exposure.
Yeah.
That's could be the end play here.
Yeah. I mean, we already had the showcase of a lot of Progress talent at WrestleMania Access weekend, and now it's being announced that Toni Storm is going to be in the women's tournament this summer. I imagine it's only a matter of time before they also announce Ginny will be in the women's tournament, probably also Kaylee Ray. And we'll probably also get some rumblings about Progress talent being signed to NXT eventually.
Be Jimmy Havoc sighting.
Yeah.
Perhaps there will be other Progress affiliated guys and ladies.
Yeah, CCK.
Maybe even doing a part-time thing. Maybe not so much a talent share, as I don't see WWE guys going on Progress shows, but I definitely see Progress guys going on WWE shows. Kind of a one-way street.
Yeah, probably. So you
Progress is pretty great, and they're hitting their stride. And it seems that they're, I don't know, getting all up. Like, they're Jonah and WWE is the whale. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you can always see it on Demand Progress. That's a good streaming service to get.
Absolutely.
So do you got Bait or you got Dunn?
Yeah.
What? Revan. Yeah, I got Bait.
Why not? What the hell? I'll be different. I'll be contrarian. We can't always agree.
Exactly.
As you can tell, I'm very riveted in the outcome of this match.
Yeah.
Fine, these two work well together.
Yeah.
Here's the match I am not excited for, and I will tell you why.
Oh boy.
The Authors of Pain versus DIY in a ladder match. It would be surprised. Shocked is too strong. I would be surprised if this match was any better than 3.5 stars. I don't see the Authors of Pain working well in a ladder match.
Neither do I. I'll agree with you on that.
I just can't see it. And I also don't see DIY winning this match. Although, you can't talk me into them winning on a weird fuck finish and keeping the Authors strong because they're not getting pinned. They're just not climbing the ladder. You can maybe someone interferes, maybe something happens, and keep the author strong while giving them losing their belt. But I can't see DIY being long for this world as a tag team, especially with the rumors of Johnny Gargano's new entrance music.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that personally.
I don't know about that either, but I mean, we've been forecasting the DIY turn since last year.
Or the split, yeah.
The split, excuse me. The split since what? SummerSlam when they lost.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is probably going to happen here is I'm predicting more likely a promotion than a split. That's honestly my belief. Yeah, I also have the Authors of Pain here. I'm not happy about the stipulation.
Neither am I. I think it does not play into the strengths of the Authors of Pain.
Yeah, big beefy guys in ladder matches historically don't do well.
Especially big beefy guys who are still green and relatively limited in the ring.
Yeah, and another problem.
And I love the Authors. Don't get me wrong. I love them.
I will say another problem that I have with this match is that there's been basically no build to it. The Authors haven't had a TV match since Takeover Orlando.
Well, who would you have them wrestle?
I would throw in a squash against enhancement talent, or if you want, have the. I mean, there are several teams you could have the Ely brothers challenge them again, have them face the Bad Football Men. I mean, I would have almost rather than have DIY face Tino and Riddick, I would have rather had the Authors of Pain face Tino and Riddick.
That was a fun match, but yeah, that would not have been a fun match with those four green guys. You have to have some generals in there.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I don't know. It's just it's rough right now. The NXT tag division is
it's kind of in a state of flux.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll get some changes in that. But yeah, so we both have AOP here. Let's see about the women's division. The triple threat that was supposed to be a fatal four-way, but now is only a triple threat. Asuka defending against Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross. Ruby
last week. Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ruby and Nikki both had little short video segments last week that were great.
Last week I said I see Ruby Riott winning this belt and defending it at SummerSlam. I would like to change that based on the direction they're going to Asuka winning and then Ember Moon coming and being a vengeful, fiery babyface and winning and defeating Asuka with the Eclipse at SummerSlam. Yeah. That's the story they're telling. Just because it's a predictable story does not mean it is a bad story. Let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
I am not the world's foremost Ember Moon fan, although I will say her without the contact lenses is a big step up. I think the contact lenses were hokey, and I think they were stupid, and I think she is far too pretty, and her eyes are far too pretty to mask them with stupid colored contact lenses. Mm-hmm. I like that she has them. They give her a little more realness, more authenticity.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I agree also with the.
Is there a drag racer going on outside your house?
I mean, there might be. I live in a section of Brooklyn where people like to race down the streets, despite the fact that I live literally right across the street from a police station. Oh, it's like, we're just going to, speed past all of these cop cars and just hope that there are no cops sitting in any of them waiting to pull out and give us speeding tickets.
It seems like an easy opportunity for additional revenue. Just have some guys sitting there with a radar gun.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm not a fan necessarily of that being the story. I was really hoping that they would give it the fatal four-way treatment here, but I can see the benefits of going with the Ember Moon winning at Takeover Brooklyn 3 treatment. I'm still just like I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm still not really on board with Asuka's undefeated streak having gone on this long and the women's division being in this much of a state of being cleared out.
Yeah, it's helpless. Yeah, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. It's rough, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I think Asuka wins this match. I think it's better than the match they had in San Antonio, the four-way with the unbelievably bad booking that match had, where the icons didn't pin each other.
Yeah, that was
what we all called at the time how dumb that was.
The less said about that, the better. The less angry I will be about that. Once again,
I was in the building for that. How do you think I felt?
Yeah. Oh, side note, I got happy birthday wishes today from Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, so go me.
Oh,
Twitter loves me. Twitter
made
loves me. Twitter loves me.
everyone loves you.
Anyway, yeah, I'm predicting. I am predicting a screwy finish to this, though. I'm thinking that Nikki hits Ruby with that spinning neck breaker and goes for the pin. Asuka jumps in, kicks her out of the ring, and pins Ruby.
Yeah,
that's what I'm.
I think Ruby's taking the fall.
Yeah, Ruby's absolutely taking the fall. There's no way Nikki's taking the fall on this. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Adam Rice on this. The women's match is probably going to be the best match on the card because there's so much talent in that ring. I mean, those three performers, three of the best in the world on the women's side. And then we have the NXT championship match where hopefully Hideo Itami can follow in Shinsuke Nakamura's footsteps in dragging Bobby Roode to a passable match for the NXT title. I am predicting a GTS's hit and that it does not win the match for Hideo and that Bobby Roode retains before having to defend against any one of the other excellent talents that I mentioned at the beginning of this discussion.
Yeah.
Brooklyn 3.
This is clearly a placeholder. Someone else is being groomed. Maybe Roddy, maybe Drew, maybe Black to be the guy to fight.
My guess is going to be Drew because he has that presence to him and that look. And the rumors going around that Black might be getting called up to the cruiserweight division sooner rather than later, possibly being the one to dethrone Neville from the title. Tell me that Drew is the most likely candidate here to get that.
I could see it.
Shot.
I could see it. Absolutely. I don't see it Hitami winning this. I could see Hitami being called up to the cruiserweight division as well.
Yeah,
they're so stagnant right now.
I mean, let's be fair here. Tommy was supposed to be called at the main roster 2 years ago.
Yeah,
before his injury. I mean,
injuries.
He was in the if you recall going back to WrestleMania 31, he was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. He won he won a fatal 4-way that earned him a spot in that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and that was supposed to be the that was supposed to be the thing that led him into a main roster promotion. He was
remember that
he was what was supposed to be, I believe, what was supposed to be the plan, and people can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but the intention was that Tommy would be the one to face Kevin Owens at Beast in the East, and he would lose there and then get promoted up to the main roster. And you would have his final match in NXT would be in front of his family and friends in Japan. And that would be his farewell to NXT. But the injury prevented that. And that led to Finn Balor's title reign instead. And that is what I believe was supposed to be the plan. And again, if I am incorrect in that, please, in the live thread, feel free to correct me on that.
It sounds plausible to me, my friend. I can't argue with anything, but the poor guy's just been injured.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, I feel really bad for him. But yeah, I mean, you got.
I think Roode retains.
On this, Roode retains. Yeah,
just whatever.
And that's Takeover Chicago.
It should be a fun show. Tickets are cheap. $20.
It's definitely not a bad card, but it's definitely one of those like transitional takeovers events to get us from one big event.
But NXT's awesome right now. But this is kind of a weird. Both Takeover and Backlash are very transitional.
It's funny though because we were talking before the show started about how they're probably going to film an episode. No, they're definitely going to film an episode of NXT before Takeover proper, because that's what they always do with takeovers. And in all honesty, there's probably going to be more excitement to that than anything else.
Yeah,
I mean, they've already promised a match between Drew McIntyre and Wesley Blake. They've already promised an Aleister Black match. I can't see them. I mean, they could.
Wait, isn't Hero Almas?
No. That was this past week.
Or not Hero Almas. Isn't God? There's something they teased for. It is Black. It is
They said Aleister Black will be in action. They said it's McIntyre versus Wesley Blake.
That's it. McIntyre versus Wesley Blake for, quote, next week, which should be this taping.
Yeah. I mean, they have enough people that they could feasibly film enough material for 2 episodes. And I don't see why they couldn't do that, because I mean, they have to. I don't see why they wouldn't have a match where Cassius Ohno's facing somebody. I mean, the Icons have not done anything since the Battle Royal for the #1 contendership. So I may imagine they might get a match.
Maybe the artist formerly known as Daria Benedetto, or the artist formerly known as Macy Estrada.
Yeah.
They had a match. Maybe they could be doing something
kind
of dovetail. By the way, I want to talk about, I always forget her new name, Sonya something.
Sonya Deville. Yeah.
I love her MMA gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
I love her heel attitude of I'm a shoot fighter, you're not. I love the braided hair and the tape fists and the weird little skirt thing. I'm in love with all of it. She's very pretty and she will kill you, and I am a fan. I just wanted to point that out.
And counterpoint to that, I absolutely love Macy.
Macy's great too.
Lacey Evans, the artist formerly known as Macy Estrella. She's
great too.
She's got a phenomenal look. She's got a great style. She could also have a style of being a shoot fighter, given her military training.
Absolutely, she can.
I could very easily see them incorporating some military combat techniques into her arsenal, and it would look great. So I think she's got a bright future as a homegrown performance center talent as well.
Yes, and part of the fun of NXT is watching these guys and ladies get better at their craft.
Yeah, and I certainly hope that
they get better week by week.
I certainly hope that they are given the chance to grow and develop around the rest of the women who are coming into NXT and the WWE in the coming months, what with the women's tournament.
Conversely, we're going to give praise to some of the women. We need to start giving the opposite of praise. We mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but Liv Morgan and Aaliyah.
Yeah, please, no more.
Get better or get out.
Please, no
Shit
more.
Or get off the pot. Time you're wasting time.
Yeah.
You need to get better or get out.
I really wish that instead of giving Liv Morgan some of the TV time that she's had in recent weeks, or not recent weeks, but just over the past couple of months, rather than giving that time to Liv Morgan, I would have much rather they had given that time to Mandy Rose. I mean,
Absolutely.
She's a much better performer in every aspect, and she gets her character, she gets her gimmick, and she can wrestle much better matches. But that's neither here nor there. We got to talk Backlash, because we got a lot to cover on this show, and we're already more than halfway done with it.
So we got to blitz through this. We get distracted too easily.
Yeah, we go on tangents a lot, guys.
Backlash. All right.
Pre-show, we've got Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English.
I like Aiden English a little bit. He ain't gonna win this match. I like this Aiden English gimmick. There's something there. I mean, you need lower card heels whose sole purpose is to get their heads kicked in.
Yeah.
And Ty Dillinger was basically NXT's popular mid-carder. Now he's SmackDown's popular mid-carder. So he'll win, right? I mean,
yeah. This is Dillinger win. I mean, I like Aiden English's, what is it that he calls himself? Some sort of artist gimmick. I forget what his actual name of his gimmick is, but he's some sort of artist gimmick. He does his singing and whatnot, and it's fun. I enjoy it. He's got a good singing voice. I'll give him that much. But Dillinger's got to win this. This is his introduction.
This is your 6-minute pre-show match, whatever.
Mm-hmm. This is his introductory feud to the main roster, and I can't see him losing here. Next, we have another match that probably will end up on the pre-show, but hasn't been made official yet. Luke Harper versus Erick Rowan.
It should be a beard versus beard match.
If you have not seen this week's Talking Smack, go watch it as soon as we are off the air, because a 5-minute interview that Erick Rowan had on Talking Smack this week is the single best thing he has done in his entire WWE career, without fail.
No argument.
This is incredible character work. This is what they should have been doing with him since 2014 when they first gave him a singles run. This is insanely good. He gets this. He gets it to a T. And I am so happy that this happened. I'm shocked and so happy about it because, I never knew he had this in him. We saw flashes of this in his vignettes that he does on his YouTube channel, but I've never would have suspected this kind of character depth from him, and he is just spot on perfect with this. And I mean, they have their alignments right now too from their singles pushes. I mean, when Harper and Rowan.
Last time they had it all backwards.
Yeah, I mean,
Rowan face. Ugh.
Yeah, Rowan face is this big red character. I mean, it had its moments, but it was not great. And Luke Harper as the heel, he was just continuing his Wyatt character gimmick. And Harper, as we've seen, he plays a better babyface. He gets the crowd behind him as a babyface, and Rowan gets his role as a heel. So, I mean, I hope that they keep them in these alignments and, use this as a way to catapult them into better positions on the card because they deserve it.
I feel bad because Luke Harper is destined to be underutilized, but at least he's being featured after his removal from the Orton Bray Wyatt feud. You notice how that feud rapidly fell apart in a quick hurry.
He was the heart of that feud.
He was the tendons that held it together.
Nobody wanted to. Yeah. Nobody in WWE brass wanted to acknowledge that he was the best part of that feud, but he was. Everybody else knew it. Everybody else knew it. Let's see. Next up, we have Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin. I guess this is some kind of grudge match. I haven't really seen why this is happening. I don't understand why this is.
They had a backstage thing, either this week or last week on SmackDown, but it was pretty quickly thrown away. I like Sami Zayn. I like that, but at this point, I don't want to say disappointed, but discouraged with Sami Zayn on the main roster.
Yeah.
I don't quite know what to expect. I don't know how much of it is him and how much of it is the booking. I'm willing to say the majority of it is the booking.
Yeah, me too.
Because the performer's the same. Yeah. But, I mean, I want him to have it'll never happen, but I want a 20-minute match where he can show off his shit. I want a Sami Zayn AJ Styles match where it's just like, you guys, here's 15 minutes of in-ring, go have fun. And it seems that his destiny is just to be to carry these underachieving workers to 3-star matches.
I mean, the best moment that he had was his match against Kevin Owens from, what was it, Battleground last year? I forget which pay-per-view it was where he faced Owens in the, oh my God, I don't even remember if it was, I don't think it was a last man standing match. Or was it a no? It was
what were you talking about? I'm sorry?
Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I know he had some pay-per-view match against Kevin Owens last year. That was supposed to be like
the whole. This is the last time they're wrestling, and then they're going to wrestle the next month or whatever it was. Yeah.
It was a Battleground. Yeah. I mean, that was a great match. They had time, and they did a great job. And I really would like to see more of that because, I mean, Sami Zayn is proven he can put on great matches. He puts on great matches with all kinds of performers, but they're treading water with him because he doesn't have the look that they want from a top star, and they want to give him the Daniel Bryan story without the Daniel Bryan triumph. That's essentially what they're going for here because he doesn't have the natural kind of charisma that Daniel Bryan has, unfortunately.
No one does, or few do.
Yeah. So it's I on the flip side here, I mean, Corbin is still in his wheelhouse, still doing really well.
Yeah, he is.
I'm picking Corbin to win this just because I think that
I think so too.
They're
higher on Corbin than they are on Zayn. Zayn is kind of the gatekeeper, mid-card gatekeeper.
And word on the street is that Baron Corbin is supposed to be the winner of Money in the Bank next month. So I think that they want him in a good spot going into that.
And the AJ Styles burial tour continues, brother Chris. Brother, it's just light a candle for AJ Styles, ladies and gentlemen.
He's gonna win the title at SummerSlam. He's gonna win the title at SummerSlam. Don't worry about it.
Nakamura's gonna win the title at SummerSlam.
No. Nakamura's gonna win the title at Survivor Series.
So AJ only has the title for 3 months,
or the Rumble or Mania.
So AJ only has the title for 6 months. Only has the title for 9 months.
Oh my God!
Title for all of the months.
How unreasonable are you?
Hey, I was okay with him losing this week on SmackDown. Let the record reflect, because he lost to the number one contender, as ludicrous as Jinder Mahal number one contender is. I made my peace with that. Yeah. And his two very small lackeys, and my God, are those two very small men. Yeah. And Kevin Owens, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
So
then
here's a match that do you want to talk about Shinsuke Nakamura, or do you want to talk about this women's match?
No, I was gonna say Nakamura Ziggler next.
Sure. There's no chance Nakamura loses this match.
Not at all.
Fully expect it to be a 4-star match because you know what? We give Dolph Ziggler a lot of shit. You know what Dolph Ziggler is really, really, really good at? Selling.
Mm-hmm.
So now, of course, this is going to be an ass backwards match where Ziggler's taking 80% of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or it should be an extended. It should either be one of two things: 15 minutes bell to bell of two guys going 50-50. Or a 6-minute squash. It should be one of those two things. But again, as I mentioned,
I like the second option better. I actually like the second option better of the 6-minute squash.
I'm okay with an extended squash.
Yeah.
Of the show up, Nakamura does his shit, he pops the crowd, he goes home. That's all anybody's there for is to sing along to his entrance and pop for the Boom-Aye and the yeah, you know what I mean, at the end. Yeah. That's all. We don't need to watch Dolph Ziggler on top. Nobody wants to watch Dolph Ziggler on top.
I mean, if there's anybody...
Ask Chelsea Handler about what it's like when Dolph Ziggler's on top.
I mean, if there's anybody that we know can bounce back from a 6-minute squash with little to no effect on their standing, is Dolph Ziggler. You know, guy is freaking...
So go one of two ways. Either the 6-minute squash or the 20-minute epic. I'm cool with either. Mm-hmm. I don't want the 12-minute... match where Dolph Ziggler gets 80% of it. I don't want that. The standard WWE match, which is of course what we're gonna get.
Yeah, it's gonna be terrible, but whatever. All right. Women's 6-woman tag.
I'll say this: both these men are gonna have their work shoes on.
Yeah,
Dolph was a professional. He was all the shit we give him, and it is well deserved. He is a professional. He doesn't dog matches. Mm-hmm. And by the way, he's been pretty good on the mic. Let's say that. He's been pretty good on the mic, especially early on in this feud, especially because this feud's basically been him on the mic and entrances. And we've already talked about Nakamura in front of a new audience. This is Nakamura in front of the biggest audience he'll ever have. I guarantee you, I'm willing to bet, to quote the great Toby Ziegler, I'm willing to bet all the money in my pocket against all the money in your pocket that Shinsuke Nakamura will show up ready to work.
Yeah.
And I don't have any pockets right now, so that's a good bet for me.
Even though he is working opposite Dolph Ziggler, I mean, yeah, he will show up ready to work because this is his first match.
Bobby Roode.
Yeah,
Dolph Ziggler's a better worker than Bobby Roode.
Yeah. All right. Women's 6-woman tag match. I don't care about it either. I mean, as word going around is that this is just a vehicle to turn Charlotte back heel because apparently they like her better as a heel, and we're going to go back to the ridiculous imbalance of faces and heels in the SmackDown Women's Division.
By the way, you like how your champion has become an afterthought?
Oh my god!
I don't mean like literally like. I'm just pointing that out.
Oh.
I am not the world's biggest Naomi fan. We've discussed this. She deserves better.
Yeah. The title deserves better. She deserves better, and this division deserves better. I mean, I was not on board with them bringing Charlotte over to the superstar shakeup.
No, she sucks the air out of the room. On any division she's in, she sucks the oxygen out of the room.
I continue to not be on board with it because it's like they had her get beaten down by the welcoming committee, and and then they're just going to go right back to her being in the title picture again. And it's like, get the woman out of the damn title picture. I've had enough of that. It's been almost 2 straight years now.
Yeah. Well, she's been in the title picture. Agreed.
Yeah. It was Night of Champions 2015 when she first won the Divas title off Nikki Bella. And now that was September of 2015. So it's
someone's turning heel.
It's 21. It's 20/21 months later now, and there's not been a month that has gone by where Charlotte has not been in the title picture of the brand that she's on. And I mean, you want to talk about extended pushes and being over pushed? Everybody says that about Roman Reigns, but here's your biggest fucking example of that on main roster WWE: 21 months in the title picture or holding a title in her division. Charlotte Flair. Don't talk to me about Roman Reigns until you've acknowledged Charlotte Flair, people.
Someone's got to turn.
Charlotte's turning after the match. I mean, Charlotte's gonna.
They fucked this up so badly, didn't they? First of all, they should have dragged the Becky Lynch "Will she or won't he" longer than 1 week.
Yeah.
Secondly, they should turn Becky Lynch just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
I mean, this division's going nowhere. Why not at least throw a monkey wrench out there? But
yeah.
Charlotte's going to turn and win the belt, and we're all going to go on with our lives and all want to slowly just feel the life being sucked out of us.
And then we're all going to beat our heads against the wall when they debut Lana and try to have her be a face. When we all know that she's
that'll be fun.
Garbage human being in real life, and nobody wants to cheer for her.
She's a garbage human being and a worse actress.
Yeah. Now moving on to
the heels win.
No, I'm actually picking Charlotte to pin Natalya here.
Then turn on her.
Yeah, they made it clear enough in the contract signing that Charlotte is coming after Naomi after business is over, regardless of what happens. And I think that it makes better storytelling in some ways for the faces to win, and then afterwards for Charlotte after they win the match, for Charlotte to then just forearm Naomi or whatever, then just take her out. Do it that way. I mean, that seems to be the most likely scenario. Rather than having her kick Naomi when she's down. Yeah. I mean, that does have its benefits, but you still need to make the champ look strong, as to make this feud actually have some meaning to it. And you can't really have a loser go. You can't have someone who lost the match to then go feuding for the title. I mean, if they're gonna have the faces lose, it would have to be someone from the welcoming committee to be next in the title picture. And they do have that. They do have justification for that in the fact that Carmella has pinned Naomi twice, and they could use that. She pinned the champ in a non-title match. She deserves a title shot as justification for giving Carmella a title shot, but I don't see them going that angle. Not yet, anyway. So
let's talk about the main event, or the real main event.
Your main event.
Not just mine.
No. It's not my main event. We'll get to my main event next. But your main event, AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship.
This could be like a 4.5-star match.
Work rate, yes. I could see this being a 4.5-star match.
This feud.
No, because they had one night of sociopath Kevin Owens who just wants to feed his family, and then they went right back
into Vince's security blanket. Foreigners hate America.
Yeah, and I'm going to speak French.
Why this man loves Donald Trump.
I'm going to speak French just because I can, just because it's unfamiliar to all of you. I miss sociopathic Kevin Owens. Why didn't you draft me? Chip on his shoulder, Kevin Owens, from talking smack. Yeah.
Instead, we got the boringest trope ever of Vince hates heels who are foreign because foreigners.
Yeah. I will say this. I'll give credit where credit is due. AJ Styles has done a great job transitioning from being the heel who runs the show on SmackDown to the face that built SmackDown from the ground up. And
it's been so subtle, which is so surprising for WWE. They don't do subtlety.
Mm-hmm.
And they did subtlety here, and it worked.
Yeah.
But that's because AJ Styles is literally an all-timer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, rapidly climbing the list of all-timers, AJ Styles.
Yeah, I know.
Man was born to be a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
Only regret is that he wasted 10 years in TNA.
Anyway.
Did you like Claire Lynch? Sorry, I don't mean to get you all riled up on your birthday. That's a
get out.
That's a dick move. I'm sorry, everybody. I don't mean to get him all. He's turning all red faced probably right now on his birthday. Thinking AJ Styles cosplaying Ric Flair, or AJ Styles, Claire Lynch, or any other bullshit that this poor man went through.
I'm just amazed that it took me 11 episodes to get to having to bring up my get out to you. It took me that long.
Yeah, well, that normally I deserve it.
That one you did deserve it. Yeah.
Kevin Owens wins this match. God willing, it's going to be at least 4 stars.
I'm actually thinking. Actually, yeah. I mean, I now I feel dumb because when I did the prediction thing. For Cage Side on here, I predicted Styles to win, but now that I've been thinking about it more, it makes more sense for Owens to win, and then for Nakamura to win the U.S. title from him at SummerSlam.
Okay,
that's what I'm thinking.
UJ gets the big belt, Nakamura gets the less big belt, and we run back the awesomeness of Nakamura secondary belt champion for a year, like we had in New Japan.
Yeah, I'd be on board for that.
Absolutely, I'd be on board for that.
Yeah.
All right,
my main event,
my semi-main event.
The best thing about SmackDown, and 3 months ago, if you had told me
month ago,
if you had told me that this was going to be the best thing on SmackDown, I would have laughed in your face.
I would have laughed in your face 20 days ago.
The Usos versus the Fashion Police for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. That is going to be, without a doubt, the greatest thing that happens on Sunday night.
By the way, I don't know about you. Are you a hip hop fan?
Older stuff, not
That's
anything
fine.
new.
But the Usos promo style, where one guy's the hype man and the other guy it's very hip hop, and I love it so much.
Oh, it's fantastic. Jay is the hype man, Jimmy delivering all the content.
That's so great. I love that. I love that they're not doing the bullshit foreign gimmick. You know, with the Maori dance, as cool as that was, and I love that they're just two dudes who want to just wreck your shit and who do all the cocaine.
It's so good.
Like you see Starface with the big pile, that's them.
Yeah,
all the cocaine.
It's so good. I mean,
not the cocaine, the promos.
Yeah, the promos. Yeah, last week the 12 days. 12 days. Oh my God, everything about them.
They're great. I love them. I wish them nothing but the best.
There's a reason why I titled last week's podcast, it's not Paranoia, it's a podcast. And that's because it is the best thing on main roster WWE right now. Without
the Usos cutting a promo?
The Usos cutting a promo and the Fashion Files. Those are the two best things on main roster WWE. Without fail.
I had no idea they would be this good at cutting promos. Any of these four guys, to be honest with you. I had no idea.
I mean, for what was supposed to be a comedy bullshit gimmick for Tyler Breeze and Fandango, they are killing it.
Yeah,
so
they've really done their best work.
And I said last week, I'll say it again. I wish that this had started right after WrestleMania and that we had like an extended. I
don't know if we could have had the steam, but it would have been a great weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel bad that we're only gonna we've only gotten 3 weeks of this. Yeah. Like, I mean, they might continue the Fashion Files after this, but I mean, I don't think that it'll necessarily be as impactful if they're just in some sort of mid-card non-title feud. But I mean, it still is fantastic, and the Usos are going to continue cutting incredible promos no matter who their opponents are. They were cutting incredible promos against the American Alpha, and now they're cutting incredible promos against the Fashion Police.
I hope Usango wins. Honestly,
I don't
see it. Give the belt on these guys. Let them create promos that aren't necessarily Fashion Police, but they're just their own riff, cut loose, but banter back and forth style. Tyler Breeze and Fandango are genuinely funny people.
Yeah,
who get this.
Yeah,
you know what?
That is absolutely true.
Why can't they be the New Day?
Because we already have New Day on SmackDown.
Well, I'm saying, I mean, not like, obviously. Just two dudes who have great chemistry, who get along with each other, who just do funny shit.
Why
can't they do that?
Because
they can.
They can, but they won't. Because one, they're running a comedy gimmick, and we all know comedy gimmicks don't ever win belts. And two, the New Day is going to be coming back soon. I mean, I will say, Kofi Kingston, A+ social media game for that video we put out on Instagram of you taking off the boot that's on your foot and going to a regular sneakers. A+. That video was fantastic, especially because he incorporated Power Rangers into it. A++ for the Power Rangers. But I mean, New Day's coming back, and it seems like it's a 95% likelihood that the next Tuesday on SmackDown we're going to get Usos out to cut a promo on beating the Fashion Police, and newly healed and whole New Day comes out, and we reignite the feud of 2015, 2016 that existed of the Usos versus the New Day. Yeah, that was the end of 2015 going into 2016 of the Usos versus the New Day. I mean, how could you ever forget that ridiculous fucking TLC match that featured Usos, the New Day, and the Lucha Dragon?
With the weird Selena Del Sol off the ladder through the ladder.
Yeah, Selena Del Sol off one ladder through another ladder.
That was awesome.
That was
one of the Usos.
It was Jey Uso who took that one.
That my butt still hurts thinking about that.
Yeah, that was a ridiculously scary looking.
Remember,
spot.
ladies and gentlemen, don't try this at home.
Exactly, especially not with ladders, because the ladders that WWE uses are not actual steel ladders.
No, they're like custom made. You can't climb up a real ladder. You cannot climb up both sides.
Yeah, and you also can't break a real steel ladder just by falling into it.
No, the ladder won't break. Your back will break.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, don't try this at home, folks. But yeah, I'm picking the Usos to retain here, and we get Usos New Day to start the build into Money in the Bank, and then Battleground after that. Yeah, because Battleground is the SmackDown pay-per-view after Money in the Bank.
Sure.
And then what WWE is going to tell us is the main event, and what really is just going to be the thing that everybody turns off the WWE network for. Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal.
I'm going to give you 4 names, and I know you know the answer to this question.
Oh, yeah.
Brother Chris, what do the following 4 names have in common? Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro.
They're all excellent in-ring workers.
Yes.
Who deserve better than what they get from WWE.
Truth. That is true. That is not the answer I was looking for, though. That is a correct answer, though.
Okay. What is the answer you were looking for?
All 4 have had bad matches with Jinder Mahal.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know how hard that is? You know how hard it is to have a bad match with AJ Styles? 2 people have done it with AJ Styles in his post-TNA run. Kurt Hawkins at Bola. Thank you, Videns, by the way, for refreshing my memory on that one. And Jinder Mahal on SmackDown. That's it.
I would say 3.
Oh, Apollo Crews.
No. The Apollo Crews match was the Crews match was actually okay. I was gonna go with AJ Styles, Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 32.
I thought that match was better than the Jinder Mahal match. That match had heat.
It was better, but it was still bad. That's the difference. It was still a bad match. It was. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, Chris Jericho definitely figured out towards the end.
I think it was only bad because the wrong guy won, to be honest. But
no, see, here's the thing: Chris Jericho towards the end of this most recent WWE run figured out how to mask his deficiencies in the ring. But at that point, he still had not figured.
Like 1997.
Yeah, and it showed. And it was, I mean, you could tell. Watch that match back, and you will be able to see just where AJ Styles is having to make adjustments to compensate for the fact that Chris Jericho, in his 46-year-old self, can't go at that speed.
Here's all you need to know: James Ellsworth had a better match with AJ Styles than Jinder Mahal did.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
And.
Right.
And to make matters worse here, we'll get into.
One more thing before we get any further. You can tell that Randy Orton doesn't give a rat's ass about this feud.
Well, that was what I was going to say, is that we're getting give no shits Randy Orton.
And give no shits Randy Orton is not like give no shits Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
And give no shits Randy Orton is not like give no shits Asuka. Give no shits Randy Orton is maybe the worst professional wrestler on the face of the earth. I'm not being. He's definitely the worst professional wrestler in a major promotion.
Yeah.
Check out Randy Orton. It's a terrible. It's bad. I'm a Randy Orton fan. I like Randy Orton as a performer, but I'll call a spade here, brother Chris. When Randy Orton is unmotivated, and when Randy Orton puts a big ass fucking 37-cent stamp on it something and mails it in, it's bad.
Oh yeah. What's
going to happen 3 minutes in when Jinder stiffs him and Randy Orton starts muttering stupid to himself? Yeah.
This match is going to be
a clusterfuck.
This is going to
be a multi-man disaster with run-ins and shit, or it's just going to be like 8 minutes of boring.
I mean, it's probably going to be both of those things. It's definitely going to be both of those things. Let's call it what it is. It is definitely going to be both of those things. We're going to get unmotivated Randy Orton just going through the motions with Jinder, not giving him anything to work with. And I'll say this much: for all of his deficiencies, Jinder Mahal is trying. He's put in the character work, and he's trying. He's not great by any stretch of the imagination, and his ring work still leaves a hell of a lot to be desired. but
he's average. And
yeah,
the stuff that makes a professional wrestler, if you were to rank the various, like, you know, you play like Madden, right? You play sports games. You know how they rank your speed and your strength and your awareness and your, you know, all that other bullshit without a number scale. If you do that for Jinder Mahal, he would be an average professional wrestler. Yeah. He's an average to slightly above average promo. He's an average to slightly below average in-ring worker. He's an average presence. He's an average worker.
4s and 5s across the board.
He's average. It's not his fault that he's being expected to carry a feud.
Yeah. And let's also call this what it is. I mean, it was clear from the moment that he won that Fatal 5-Way that this was a transitional feud. To get us
nobody's
through,
watching, by the way.
Yeah, to get us through until, you know, to get us through until I don't even know what though. That's the thing. Like Money in the Bank is next, then Battlegrounds, and then SummerSlam.
You could not run this feud in the pay-per-view era.
No.
In the network era, when the money's already banked in, you could run this feud.
I mean, what do they do?
For that. I will give them props for that. But during the pay-per-view era, you have to pop a buy rate. Mm-hmm. There's no way this could be your headlining feud. No way in hell.
And the ratings show that. But I mean, where do you go?
2.1 million this week, brother Chris.
And
2.1 million.
And where do you go from here? I mean, what's next after Randy beats Jinder? Because he's going to beat Jinder. There's maybe a 1% chance that they decide to put the belt on Jinder Mahal, and that's it. And that's if Vince is just feeling spiteful towards the fans that day. You know, if that's really what he wants to go for. That if he wants to just spite the fans, he's going to put the belt on Jinder.
Oh, random segue. Before you go any further, I wanted to give some props to the Bollywood boys. I like them as Jinder's annoying lackeys.
Yeah,
I think they're good in that role. I wanted to say that. I wanted to get that on the record, you know, for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to peruse when they go to their deliberations. I thought that I like them a lot. I think they're good in that role, especially I like that they're little. They're literally little shits, so it works out well. Yeah, I don't know where you go from here. I mean, do you go right to AJ and you hope to God that gets you through SummerSlam?
Hopefully.
Do you go with whoever wins the Money in the Bank, or do you hold on to that?
I think that
does Nakamura win Money in the Bank? I mean, what do you do?
Corbin is winning Money in the Bank. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, you got to have a heel do it.
Yeah, but I don't know who he's cashing in on. I don't think that you're having Corbin cash in on Randy. I think you're having Corbin cash in on AJ, but that's probably going to be down the line. So I don't know where they go from here.
I think sooner or later AJ gets the belt at SummerSlam. I don't know who he gets it from.
Real quick, I want to just run back to that tag team match real quick because both Matt DSM and Adam Rice made good points in the live thread, bringing up the fact that Heath Slater and Rhino and Rock and Sock Connection both won tag team gold as comedy gimmicks. I will agree with you, but I will also say
I would say calling Rock and Sock a comedy gimmick was a little strong. It's The Rock. I mean, sure, it's The Rock and Mankind. I mean, sure, they were doing the comedy stuff, but calling them a comedy gimmick in the same comparison that you're calling Breezango a comedy gimmick to me is a bit strong.
And also, you know, both teams, Rock and Sock with The Rock and Slate Rhino with Rhino, had good workers on them that were among Vince's favorites. I don't see Tyler Breeze or Fandango as being Vince's favorites at all. So, you know, so that's why I don't see them winning in this.
I hope they do.
I wouldn't mind, but you know, I think we stick with Usos, like I said. But yeah, Randy Orton retains. I have no idea where they go after that, and it's just going to be a bad end to the pay-per-view. Which
Matt DSM, what are the ladders made of? They're gimmicks metal.
Yeah.
You know how the tables are gimmicks, so they break clean in the middle. The ladders are also gimmicked. They're specially designed. They are metal because they can support the weight, but they're especially designed that if you land them in a certain point, they will snap in half.
Yeah.
As someone who's worked with real ladders before, real ladders are nowhere near that pliable. They're flexible. They're gimmick ladders.
Yeah, and you mean if you also go back to some ladder matches that occurred in 2016 and 2015, basically any match where R-Truth was climbing a ladder and you saw how the ladder shook anytime that he went up the ladder. Yeah, real ladders that are made of actual steel don't shake when you climb them like that.
No, not A-ladders. A-frame ladders don't.
No.
Otherwise, you'd have a lot more dead painters.
Yeah, the only way that they shake is if they're on uneven ground to begin with. Yeah. And you know, if that's the case, then you fix it before you even get up on the ladder.
Yeah, A-frame ladders don't shake unless you do something really stupid.
Yeah. So
jump on that.
Oh God! Don't bring up that Sasha couldn't break a table thing. I don't want to go through the physics of that again, Matt. She wasn't thrown through the table. She was thrown across the table. I'm sorry.
Oh, Tommaso Ciampa's hurt.
What? Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And Bailey. Yeah, fun. Whatever. Let's move on. That's too bad. They've been rumors about him getting shoulder surgery for a long time now. Hasn't there been something where he's got to get some sort of arthroscopic or some sort of cleanup on his shoulder?
Yeah, that's why I think that
after months
there's not going to be a breakup here with that DIY AOP tag team match.
Being an injury angle here, though.
Yeah, they probably will run it as an injury angle.
Whatever.
Which,
I mean,
yet again, will further deplete the NXT tag team division, but that is what it is. So
Super Juniors.
No, first.
Oh,
because
Orton.
We just talked about Randy Orton. So if you haven't heard, last weekend on Twitter, B-list 80s wrestler Rip Rogers sent out a tweet over the weekend. I think it was actually on Saturday morning because I was out running errands with my girlfriend, and I saw this.
Stop together, ladies and gentlemen. But go on.
I saw this while I was just browsing Twitter while we were out running errands because young Will Osprey, in all of his infinite wisdom, he retweeted it. I mean, granted, his response to it was fairly innocuous, but he retweeted it and and started a discussion about it, which then Randy Orton blew the fucking doors off of with his tweet about this. I'm gonna have to see if I can pull this tweet up. It's almost a week old at this point, so it's gonna be a lot of scrolling backwards to get to it. But basically, the tweet tried to give a summary of indie wrestling matches and why they have nothing to them anymore, because it's just a lot of flips and dives, and there's no story and no substance. And at the end of it, there's a handshake, and everybody gets their hand raised, and yada yada yada. It's not like it was in the old days.
Yeah. Except it's not like that, but whatever.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. I found it. That actually didn't take as much scrolling as I thought. Here. This is the exact. I'm going to read this verbatim from Rip Rogers. Every indie match now. Handshake, drawn out move exchange. This is awesome chant. Strike exchange, dive. No sell indie strong style, dive. More strikes, no sells, dive. Flippy floppy sequence, dive. Hit everybody with each other's finishers, then Humpty Dumpty we all fall down. Fight forever chant, rinse and repeat until every move is useless and means nothing. Dive, take unsafe shot that looks like shit and hurts like hell, then roll up finish. Handshake and hug after match. Everybody's hands raised. All these guys chant. Go home and type on social media thanking your opponents and company for the match and tell others they should book these guys. Dive. That is verbatim Rip Rogers'
I get it.
That he tweeted.
I get it. I get what he's writing. First of all, as someone who there are lots of indie matches that are nowhere near that. However, there are a fair amount that do fill that template to some degree or another.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand the old timers. How do I phrase this? A lot of wrestlers want it both ways. They want kayfabe to be alive and well, and they want wild cards invested in our storylines, and then they want to tweet about their buddies having matches. Like, yeah, I get it, but you can't really have it both ways. On the flip side, like, I don't know. It's 2017. I don't need you to be protecting the business.
Yeah.
I'll suspend disbelief when I go to a wrestling match. Like, I'll suspend my disbelief if you're good at doing your job.
Yeah.
Regardless of anything that happens on social media or anything else.
Exactly. I mean, I was very tempted to have this week's match of the week be last year's Will Osprey Ricochet match from Best of Super Juniors, just because of this whole thing. Because Keith Lee and Joey Ryan got it right when they were discussing this. Keith Lee tweeted something to the effect of everybody should like whatever they like about wrestling and not shit on the other stuff, because wrestling is supposed to be for everybody. And
it is. In fact, there's a great quote about wrestling that I'm going to dig up while you talk.
And Joey Ryan was a little bit more emphatic in his tweet, basically saying to the effect of, "How dare anybody tell anybody else what kind of wrestling they should or shouldn't like," which I think is actually justified here, because he's right. My initial reaction to this tweet was, great. Here's another guy from the old wrestling curmudgeons club, shitting on indie wrestling. I can't wait for Vader and Taz to give this tweet all the praise. And I understand. You guys want to have certain things in a wrestling match. That's fine. If you want to have certain things in a wrestling match, that's great. That's what you like.
But here's the difference. Here's the deal, though. And here's the quote. This is from the greattvtropes.org.
Mm-hmm.
So, wrestling and circuses. Wait, where did it go?
Oh, shit.
Fuck did it go?
Shit.
Wrestling and circuses have a lot in common.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go to the circus to see the acrobats. Some go to see the animals. Some go to see the freak shows, and some go to see the clowns. Similarly, some people watch wrestling for the high flyers. Some for the technical wrestlers. Some for the giants and bodybuilders. Some for the talkers. Some for the comedy acts, and some for the storylines. Every single wrestler is somebody's favorite. Right?
Yeah.
The things that make you happy as a wrestling fan are different than the things that make me happy as a wrestling fan, are different than things that make Wade Keller happy as a wrestling fan, are different than things that make Gino happy as a wrestling fan, are different than things that make etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When I go to an independent wrestling show, I see a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
When I go to the WWE show, I see a little bit of everything. And that's how it should be. Like, this isn't rocket science. You like what you like. You don't like what you don't like. You move on with it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you be like me and you make a podcast about it. But
yeah, that's.
You want to talk about Randy Orton?
Yeah,
Randy Orton. Randy Orton tweeted out about how he was sitting there drinking beer and.
I have it up if you want me to. If you want me to read that.
Read the quote.
Sorry to the indie marks, indie guys, and old timers who do dives that took offense. Just having a good time over a few drinks in Denmark, closing the SmackDown Live tour, while beating Raw and making over $5 million in the last 11 shows. Now, I know to some that doesn't equate to a standing room only crowd of 150 people paying $8 at an armory somewhere. But in the big boy world, that's called putting asses in seats. So enjoy your flips, dives, and 20 super kicks per match. To each their own. I will go dive back into my 13th title run and get ready to flip when my bank statement comes this month. Headlock. It's like
a few things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, props to SmackDown for being Raw.
Yes.
Good job by you. Secondly, Randy Orton has never drawn a fucking dime in his life.
Yeah.
Never. Well, once. For 4 months in 15 fucking years has this guy drawn money. He couldn't draw fucking flies to shit unless he was super kicking Vince or punting Vince McMahon and making out with Stephanie McMahon while Triple H is handcuffed to the fucking ropes. You know what? If it were John Cena coming out with this, who has drawn money, okay, different story. If it were Tetsuya Naito coming out and saying this, who's drawn money, okay, different story. Chris Hero, different story. AJ Styles, different story.
Hell, even
those
Roman
guys
Reigns
have drawn money. Orton hasn't drawn money since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
8 years. 2 presidential terms. That's number one.
Yeah. Well, that was number 2.
That's the big one.
I thought that was number 2. Number 1 being congrats to SmackDown.
That was number 2.
Yeah.
Number 3. I like you, Randy Orton, as an in-ring competitor. I like your style. I like the slow, methodical style because I watch a lot of 80s wrestling, and that is the style of 80s wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You do not have a leg to stand on, Mr. You cannot be Mr. making fun of Marks and then talking about your fake championships. What's more Markish than saying, I've won 13 championships?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Randy. Randall. Do you know what the phrase gotten to means? If you're sitting there talking about your dollars in the bank account that you haven't drawn, That's called gotten to.
Yeah. Yeah. Memo to everybody. This is a general memo statement to everybody in the world. If you're bringing up the amount of money you make, or the kind of car you drive, or any kind of prestige,
regardless of your profession,
regardless of what you do for your income, if you're bringing that stuff up, that is a blaring spotlight telling the world
that I have a small dick,
that you are insecure,
that I have a very small penis.
I mean, I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
I'll say it.
I mean, seriously, Randy, come on. You for all the crap that has been given to you over the course of your career, you should know better by now. Yeah, and I mean, you have a wife and a kid now who are also.
I was the Triple H broke into one time.
Who are also viewing this side of you. This is what you are reflecting to them, and this is how you're choosing to represent yourself. Really, that's what you're going for. Yeah, bad look, buddy. Bad look.
That being said, Will Osprey, Rip Rogers, gotten to.
I will say this:
this feud. There are only losers in this whole extravaganza. The only winner is this podcast because we have something to finish our show with.
I will say this. I will give young Will credit that he was he was restrained compared to some of his previous reactions to things on social media. By comparison, I mean the most extreme. Well, I mean. Actually, no, I have to revise that because he did go and freaking make a T-shirt that says ... dive on it.
Yeah.
So maybe not, but I mean,
trying to make that sweet pro wrestling tease money.
And he didn't go out attacking people on Twitter who disagreed with him over it. I will say that much. So that is what it is. The little bit that he had in his first night match in the Best of Super Juniors.
That was cute with the ground pound. Yeah. I thought that was clever. I enjoyed that. That was clever. Yeah. A little subtle fuck you. I thought that was clever.
Yeah, that was cool. That was smart for a kid who's still pretty young to throw something like that in there and make it work. Good job, Will. So that's really all we wanted to say about that because I mean that's really all that needs to be said.
Again, if John Cena would have said something like that, his words would have much more weight with me.
Yeah.
So,
but John Cena never would say something like that because he knows that that's a shitty thing to say too. So,
also one last point, I guarantee you that the guys who are doing dives and armories for $8 a head don't want to be doing dives and armories for $8 a head. They'd much rather be doing what Randy Orton is doing. But through a combination of their own inadequacies and their own unluckiness, they are not able to do so.
Yeah.
It is a supremely dick move to be at the top of the mountain and piss down the ladder to the people below you.
Yeah.
You win with grace, you lose with grace. Because that's the kind of people you are, or you should be. You aspire to be.
Yeah.
When you're at the top of the mountain, the only thing you should be interested in is trying to pull as many people up to the top of the mountain with you.
Yeah. Humility is a much better virtue to show than arrogance and braggartry. Yeah. All right.
That is a life lesson number 2. Life lesson number 1 from your brothers at the podcast is if you brag about your money in your car, you have a small penis. Even the women. Life lesson number 2 is when you're at the top of the mountain, try to help others get to the top of the mountain.
Yeah. All right. Let's run through first 2 nights of Best of Super Juniors real quick.
Got it.
Block A has already had 2 nights of shows. Block B has only had 1. So far, the big winners of these first 2 nights of performances, Dragon Lee and Hiromu Takahashi had a fucking barn burner on night 1.
No, stop the presses. I don't believe that Kamatachi and Dragon Lee would have a good match. That never happens. Oh wait,
that always happens.
I can watch them wrestle from now on forever.
Yeah. I mean, it was a 19-minute match that, I mean, it feels like 15 minutes when you watch it, and I mean, when it's over, it's just, I mean, you're left breathless. That's a fantastic match.
They are sensational. They are so good together, and that finish is so awesome. The Phoenix Plex.
Oh my god, it's so good. Takahashi also had a great second night in a match against Jushin Thunder Liger.
Takahashi, by the way, is rapidly climbing my most outstanding wrestler ballot for the Observer Awards.
Yeah,
which just takes into consideration in-ring ability.
To say nothing of his character ability, which is also
the whole point of the award is just in-ring ability, but his character ability is also top-notch.
Yeah,
but he's rapidly climbing the list of best, most outstanding wrestler for me on my ballot. Obviously, a lot of time to go till December, but still.
Yeah. Will Osprey and Ricochet had the sequel to last year's match, and unlike last year's match, this one went way too long. This was a 27-minute match,
which is about 15 too long for these two.
Yeah, it should have been a sprint. I'm sorry, guys. You're both great, but this should have been a lot shorter of a match.
Exactly.
That is what it is. What was a good match for Will Osprey was his match against Marty Scurll from the first night. A 12-minute enjoyable match. It was a meeting of
chicken wing
British styles. Yeah, gotta love chicken wing.
You do.
I love it. Gotta say. And then over on the Block B side, the big winner being Desperado and Kushida, with a second place award going to Bushi and ACH. Those two matches.
Bushi's grown on me in the past year.
Yeah, Bushi is definitely.
He's growing on me.
A fan favorite too. Did you see that there's a GIF floating around there? Actually, our good buddy, Mr. KM Tierney posted in the Daily. There's a GIF of Tony Storm and I think it's Jessica Havoc, not Vanessa Craven. Jessica Havoc jamming out in the background to Bushi's theme as he's making his entrance.
Nice.
For that match. It's fucking hilarious. The two of them, they're marks, but it's hilarious. So those are the two Block B matches, Bushi ACH and Desperado Kushida, that definitely worth watching. And there's plenty more Best of Super Juniors to come. It's very early in the tournament, and we've still got quite a lot of junior heavyweight wrestling to go before we get even remotely close to knowing who's going to be in the finals. Quick highlights of the Ring of Honor War of the Worlds tour. There really wasn't a whole lot of things that were notable on this tour. The biggest,
with three exceptions.
There were three big ones, so four technically. The three of which came on the War of the Worlds pay-per-view, which was last Saturday night. Or no, actually was last Friday night. While we were on the air last week, night 3 of the War of the Worlds tour. This was the show in Manhattan at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Number 1, Adam Cole officially was retired from Ring of Honor via a betrayal and firing from the Bullet Club. This is actually 1 and 2 because Marty Scurll joined the Bullet Club. It was announced by Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks via dual super kicks to Adam Cole.
And the best umbrella this side of the Penguins.
Yeah. Oh, that umbrella was amazing. I want the Bullet Club umbrella. I really do.
Surprised it's not for sale yet, to be honest.
Oh, it will be. It will be. And then the other two actually no, the other two came on night 4. I actually was mistaken because the one that I thought took place on night 3 actually happened on night 4 in Philadelphia. Hiroshi Tanahashi suffered a torn biceps, which is not good.
No.
He is being replaced on the current New Japan tour that is taking place by Satoshi Kojima. Now there are 2 ways that Tanahashi can go about this. The smart thing to do is to go and have surgery to repair the tear, and then rehab it, which will be out for 6 to 8 months, and will miss the G1.
Maybe miss the Dome.
And then the other is to just rehab it. He'll be back in about a month, but he will have more than likely a permanent deformity in his arm because of the hole in his bicep.
Yeah, that would be bad. Don't do that.
Yeah. Please, Tanahashi, for the love of God, go get the surgery, for the love of God. The G1 and the Dome are not worth your long-term health and longevity.
Yes, don't. Especially for a guy who prizes his body as much as he does.
Yeah.
Get fixed. Use the opportunity to get your knee fixed. I know his knee's been bothering him in the past.
Yeah.
Get fixed.
And then finally, the big one, the only title change of this entire tour. Kushida defeated Marty Scurll in Philadelphia, night 4 of the War of the Worlds, to win the ROH World Television Championship, and he has been carrying it with him for the Best of Super Juniors.
Nice.
So we have a new TV title holder in Ring of Honor, who's a New Japan star, which signals that, at least for the time being, the New Japan and Ring of Honor relationship will continue, despite the reported tension that there is between the two promotions.
As there should be, as New Japan is running their own shows in the U.S.
Yeah, and Ring of Honor, meanwhile, is putting on shit shows.
Yes. But they can sell 10,000 with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. God, why?
God, why? All right. Anything else, my friend?
I mean, I was going to do my rant, but, I mean, I could save that.
Do it. Hey,
do you want?
It's your birthday, man. Rant.
All right. WWE Women's Division management.
I'm gonna sit back and listen and enjoy the show.
Management of WWE Women's Division specifically. You have committed some sins. You have done some things, and I need to call you to the carpet for this. Number 1. Obviously, as I said earlier in the show, Io Shirai and Kairi Hojo signed recently, officially are signed with WWE, will be reporting soon. Word has come out today via your friend and mine, Dave Meltzer, at the Wrestling Observer newsletter, that WWE has informed Kairi Hojo that she will not be able to use her diving elbow drop as her finisher when she reports to WWE, and that she will need to find a new finisher. It is reported that she will possibly be able to use it as a setup move, but she will not be able to use it as her finisher. Why? Because it is being given to Bayley as a finisher. Now then, number 1, you are talking about, as I said, the best elbow drop in the world. No one better. No
Young Savage.
one better. No one since Randy Savage has done this better. And credit to Bayley. She's done it well the 2 times that she has done it. But it's already been sacrificed from being protected as a finisher, because Alexa Bliss has already kicked out of it once. And again, she's only used it twice. She has an established finisher in the Bayley to Belly, and she has a whole repertoire of other moves that can be utilized as finishing moves for her. So why the fuck would you sacrifice the best elbow drop in the business today for the sake of someone who does it just pretty good? Seriously, this is not rocket science here. This is a move that, as I said in my match of the week, instantly got Kairi Hojo over with the crowd that she was performing for. A crowd that had never seen her before, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions who may have been aware of Stardom and Japanese wrestling. Most of this crowd had no idea who Kairi Hojo was, and were going into it chanting for Pentagon Dark. She did that elbow drop, and instantly everybody was in her favor, was on board for Kairi Hojo, and they loved her. That is beautiful power. That is the power of a well-executed wrestling maneuver that is done to such perfection and with such performanceship that it instantly gets the crowd on your side. And you would sacrifice that for what? For what exactly? For giving someone who is, yes, granted, a mainstay on your main roster, another finisher that, again, as I said, is already not protected, is superfluous, and is no better than the Bayley to Belly in terms of looking like an effective finisher. People have complained about the Bayley to Belly looking ineffective as a finisher because it's just a regular belly to belly suplex. How is an elbow drop going to look any better than a belly-to-belly suplex as a finishing maneuver when half the roster uses an elbow drop as a setup maneuver as it is? What's the point of that? There's no common sense to that. And for another thing, for you to be giving this directive to a woman who just signed with your promotion, is walking away from her home promotion, her home country, coming to America, to a foreign land that she is not familiar with, all for the sake of working for your promotion, and the first thing you tell her is you can't do the thing that you became famous for, that you are best at. You have to do something else, learn a new finisher right out the gate before you even start with us? How fucking idiotic does WWE have to be to do that? You're basically giving a 50% chance that you're sabotaging Kairi Hojo's career right out the gate before she's even put her feet on the ground on American soil. Does that make any damn sense? Any at all? Please. If I'm missing something here, George, please tell me. Am I missing anything here?
No, that's why I haven't said anything. You're not.
Okay.
This company loves putting people in position to fail.
Okay, good.
Why didn't they have Bayley cutting long promos when she's terrible at it?
Yeah. Oh, and then on to the next point of this rant. We, in addition to putting people into position to fail, we have not utilizing people.
By the way, this entire time I've been watching a GIF of this elbow drop, and it's mesmerizing.
It is. It's beautiful. It's fucking a work of art. It is a work of goddamn art. And she's maybe one out of maybe 5 people in the world who could do it with that level of poise and skill. And side note to this, before I get into the next point of my rant, the fact that they're doing this with Kairi Hojo makes me very concerned that they're going to tell Io Shirai, yeah, you can't use your moonsault as a finisher because Charlotte uses that. And if they do that, I am marching to Stanford. I am marching to Stanford, and I am picketing myself outside of Vince McMahon's office and telling him, you fucking old-time, out-of-touch piece of shit, get your shit together.
I love it.
Next point. In addition to putting your performers in position to fail, you are purposefully not utilizing performers who are ready, willing, and able to perform just because you don't want to adjust your narrative and start telling better stories. Word on the street is that Summer Rae has been cleared medically and has been ready to perform for upwards of a month now. But creative is not doing anything to put her on TV simply because they, quote-unquote, don't have anything for her. Oh, really? Really? Because when I look at Raw and SmackDown, what do I see? On Raw, we have the Bayley and Alexa Bliss feud with Nia Jax on the periphery and everybody else with their thumbs up their asses in that women's division. Sasha Banks and Alicia Fox are out there having matches to a dead crowd, and nobody else in the division is doing anything of consequence. Mickie James is just sitting in the back as a veteran, not doing jack shit. And Nia Jax is just out there looking menacing to be Alexa Bliss's enforcer. I mean, why would you not bring Summer Rae in? Give her a storyline. She's a solid, if unspectacular, but still solid in-ring worker, and her character bits are normally the best part of whatever storyline she's involved with. She's a great character worker. She does a great job with any role that she's given, even when it's an absolute shit role, like being Rusev's girlfriend in that fucking love quadrangle that happened that you never want to go back to again. Summer Rae was the only redeeming aspect.
Having a good day, and then you brought that up.
And then on the SmackDown side, you're throwing all 6 women into multi-person tag matches or singles matches where everybody else is on the outside doing fuck all until a brawl breaks out with no storyline, no stakes, and no progression forward for anybody. The champion Naomi is an afterthought. Charlotte is sucking the air out of the entire rest of the division. All the heels have been lumped together just because they're all heels. And fucking James Ellsworth has more agency in this division than Becky Lynch does right now. Please, someone tell me why you couldn't slot Summer Rae in for a feud against one of the heels or one of the faces. Anybody else. You could easily bring in Summer and have her start running down Becky Lynch as having been a failure since she lost the title to Alexa Bliss and how she hasn't been consequential to SmackDown. Have them run a feud for a while. You could bring in Summer Rae, have her start running down Natalya as being an old and out-of-touch legacy performer who doesn't belong anymore, and have them run for a feud for a while. Hell, you could have her and Carmella start feuding because Carmella starts calling Summer a third-rate impersonation of her or something like that. There's so many different elements you could run with Summer right now, especially given the fact that you had just had Emma, who just fell out on the Raw side, bring Summer in to either brand and have her fulfill whatever role you were going to have for Emma. I mean, we know that Emma was going to be entering into a feud with Dana Brooke, who's also sitting in the back with Mickie James doing fuck all in the back.
Yep.
This company is so stuck in its ways and unwilling to make even the slightest adjustment to what they have planned for the sake of the betterment of their performers. And why? Ratings are falling. People aren't invested in the matches. It's very clear that nobody gives a shit. Fucking hell. They just made a kendo stick on a pole match in 2017. They made a object on a pole match for a WWE pay-per-view event, Extreme Rules. There is an object on a pole match happening in 2017 on a WWE pay-per-view match. You're not telling me, you're going to try and tell me that you couldn't have brought in Summer Rae for a storyline with literally anybody else to help inject some life into that women's division and make it unnecessary to have that kind of a shit gimmick happen in an Extreme Rules match. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's an Extreme Rules match. We've already proven, though, that we can do a lot of other things with Extreme Rules. We've had women's steel cage matches. We've had women's Hell in a Cell matches. We've had women's table matches. The only thing left that we haven't had yet is women's chairs matches at this point, or even a women's. Or no, we actually have had women's ladder matches, and we could easily bring that back again. Have another women's ladder match. There's so many different things you could do rather than having a fucking kendo stick on a pole match. And
No, but they went the lazy way.
And people might say to me, but Chris, there's no time on TV. How are you going to fit Summer Rae in? There's no time on TV. Oh, really? Really? You're not going to tell me that you can't fit in a 10 or 15-minute women's match instead of a 20-minute long-winded promo on Raw? You're not going to tell me you can't fit in a 10 or 15-minute Summer Rae match instead of a meaningless lower card or jobber match on SmackDown with Kurt Hawkins or whoever they're using as jobber now on SmackDown for the lower card? You're not going to tell me that we can't have any space for well-written women's storylines that would make sense, that utilize all the performers to the best of their ability and to put them in the best position to succeed?
Whoa. You expect this company to utilize performers to the best of their ability? Have you been watching this company, Chris?
I watch
NXT. When's
NXT.
the last time they've utilized performers to the best of their ability?
NXT. That's all I need to tell you. Because you know I'm right. You have all the tools, all the templates.
You're forgetting the law of conservation of good television shows.
I know.
In the WWE, only one show is allowed to be any good at a given time.
Yeah,
SmackDown's bad, NXT's now good.
And that's the problem. And that is the
absolutely
problem.
It's a problem.
Because, like I said, they have shown time and time again that they have the ability to do these things right. There are so many ways that they have shown that they have the ability to do these things right, to make their performers look good, put them in positions to succeed, have storylines that actually make sense. And instead, now we're sacrificing those things in order to further some ridiculous narrative that's planned out so far in advance and has no flexibility built into it whatsoever, such that nobody is going to be given a chance to succeed. And all of these fucking repetitious matches that we've had, where the same two people are facing off week in and week out and just trading wins back and forth.
That's it. Everyone's on the hamster wheel.
We've talked about 50-50 booking how many times and how much it just kills this whole entire federation. Look no further right now than the women's division on the main roster for that.
Yeah, you're right. I can't argue with anything you've said.
So, yeah. And this picture I have just painted for you. of complete and utter travesty for the women's division of Raw and SmackDown, which deserve far better. On the same day that I am telling you all of this, Stephanie McMahon has given a quote talking about how she wants the women to one day main event WrestleMania. Oh, really? Could have told me otherwise, because the way I see it, you don't care about women main eventing any show ever because you don't see them as main event level performers. You don't want to give them a chance to be main event level.
They have no agency, the women, because they're not given any.
Tired myself out there, but
that's okay. Yeah. You're gassed. You're a little winded. You know, time for a rest hold. That's all right. Throw on a headlock. They're calling you Chris Orton. maybe a Garvin stomp.
I mean, if you're gonna call me anything, call me Chris Cobb. At least I'm built like Jeff Cobb. I mean, I'd like to be built like Jeff Cobb. I'm actually not built at all. I'm not built at all like Jeff Cobb, but you know, in my dreams, I'm built like Jeff Cobb.
I'm a fan of Jeff Cobb.
Yeah,
he is a great man.
I'm really hoping that he gets booked for Evolve 87 when that comes to Queens next month.
Oh, intriguing.
I'm really hoping he gets booked for that. I don't know if he will, but I'm hoping he will.
I hope so.
All right.
Anything else, my friend? I think we're pretty much done, right?
Yep. The birthday podcast is over. We're back.
Birthday podcast. Happy birthday, Chris. Again.
Thank you.
Should I sing to you? No, my singing voice sucks. But I'm wishing you happy birthday again.
Thank you very much. We're back to Fridays next week. We're gonna recap Takeover and Backlash.
And AEW, I'll be going to the fun shows.
Yeah, we're gonna go over more Best of Super Juniors action. Give some results on Evolve 84 and 85.
We got a lot going on. We'll try to be a little quicker.
Yeah, well, I mean, the wrestling summer has officially begun, and we're gonna have a lot of content to go through. So, yeah, we got to stop going off on tangents. Yeah,
we do. We got to tighten the show up a little bit, man. That's on both of us.
Yeah,
a lot of grabs. We like to talk about it. And thank you for listening, everybody.
Yes. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for participating in the live thread, for being here with us tonight. We appreciate all your feedback and your contributions. Everything that you guys bring to this show is just as important as what we do while we're on the air for you.
I think in a few weeks, I'm going to channel an Usos and do all the cocaine before a show. It worked for them. Maybe not.
Please no.
No.
I'm just going to say, please no.
I'm actually not going to, because I would need to do all of the cocaine in order to be like the Usos.
Yeah,
and if I do all of the cocaine, they cannot do all of the cocaine, which is a problem because they need it much more than I do.
And I'd also rather you not go into some sort of hemorrhagic shock in your brain from doing all of the cocaine.
And thinking about graps while high would probably be a big mistake.
Yeah, a huge mistake.
Yeah, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad unless you Usos.
That would be a Mark Henry sized mistake.
Yes. Drugs are bad unless you're the Usos. Your third life lesson. Life lesson number 1: don't talk about how much money you make unless you have a small penis. Mm-hmm. Life lesson number 2: pull people up to the top of the mountain with you. And life lesson number 3: unless you're the Usos, don't do drugs.
Yep. We're teaching you guys important life lessons here on Two Guys One Sport.
Yep.
Episode 11 is in the books. I'm Chris, and thank you for tuning in. don't work yourselves into a shoot. Enjoy this weekend's wrestling, and we will see you next Friday.
Thanks again, everybody. Have a great night.
Goodbye.